In this video, we're going to break down some of the forms of traditional and non-traditional banking and how you need to make sure that you are benefiting from the banking system and not being taken advantage of. Stay tuned. Do you have a bank account? If not, you're getting robbed every day. And if any of your tenants don't have bank accounts, you're complicit in them getting robbed by the non-traditional banking industry. Over the last few years, we've seen a huge rise in the previously unbanked population turning to alternative banking methods like cash cards, Cash App, and other forms of non-traditional banking. As a property manager, landlord, and regular employer of contractors and handyman, I feel like we have a moral responsibility to help people understand some of the benefits of traditional banking and also see some of the ways they're being taken advantage of by this non-traditional banking world, especially some of the previous unbanked population. So people are increasingly being targeted to turn over their money to very high fee sources of non-traditional banking methods, primarily driven by large retailers or other non-financial organizations. So at the end of this video, we'll talk a little bit about the fee structures and access to money and access to professional financial advice that the traditional banking world gives that some of these non-traditional bankers don't offer. So stay tuned for the end of that. Right now, what I want to talk to are the landlords and property managers and talk to you about how you can utilize these things to make sure that you're able to communicate effectively with tenants and contractors. Somewhat recently, I had the experience of working with a handyman who could only be paid through the Cash App. This was my first experience firsthand with non-traditional banking methods. So with the Cash App, you basically pay by text to and from this app. You download the app, you hook up a credit card or a bank account, and you're able to communicate funds through the Cash App, similar to a PayPal or a Venmo, with a few significant differences. So stay at the end. I talk about some of the ways that Cash App specifically is taking advantage of some of these unbanked people, and I go through the screens. But as a property manager or a landlord, if you're looking for some of this help that may not be connected to traditional banking models, you'll need to get yourself kind of submersed into their world of some of these non-traditional banking methods, so you're able to get them to do the work at reasonable prices, still pay them in a timely manner, and continue getting some lower cost help for your maintenance needs. On the flip side, with tenants, I collect all my rents through ACH payments. I collect them through debits, automatic debits that I process through QuickBooks Online on the first of every month. Where I've come into play with the cash cards and other non-traditional forms of banking have been when the tenants weren't able to pay their rent. I then had to either process the payment as a credit card or have them go into my bank, get a cash advance against their cash card, and then pay their rent. And why I really feel like I need to make a video about this is because these tenants are paying exorbitant fees just to be able to deposit and access their money. They're getting charged on both sides, whereas that wouldn't be the case with traditional banking methods. So let's dig into what these cards are, how they're taking advantage of people, and how you can escape that trap by moving over to traditional forms of banking. What are these alternative banking methods like cash cards and cash apps? On a recent trip to Walmart, I went ahead and spent some time looking at some of the cash cards that were available, and I also got online to look into the Cash App that one of my handymen has used recently. As I was going through these, I saw some major differences between traditional bank accounts that are readily available to most, if not all, consumers, and some of these alternative banking methods that are being offered and specifically targeting some of the most disadvantaged Americans. So let's go through what a cash card is. Let's look at some of the rates, fees, and offerings that they have, and let's compare those to a normal bank account. So first of all, with these cash cards, many of them start right off with a funding fee. So on these, you can see that there's a funding fee just to put money on the card in the first place. Then they'll act like fee-free deposits with direct deposit are a great advantage to the consumer. But putting money in your account isn't an advantage to the consumer. It's just how you fund the account. So a bank account isn't going to charge you these funding fees that all these cash cards are charging consumers. Next, let's look at accessing your money. So accessing your money with a bank, you can either get free withdrawals at the bank, or with one of the checking accounts that I have personally, you're able to access your money from any ATM worldwide, and then the bank will refund your ATM fees every quarter. So essentially, you can use any ATM in the world for free with a traditional bank account. However, a lot of these cards, in addition to the ATM fees that you're being charged on the ATM side, they're also charging you an ATM fee from the servicer. So when you get your money, you're getting charged twice. Once by the place where your money's being held, and a second time by the ATM provider where you're accessing your money. Whereas with a traditional bank account, at least in my case, bank account, at least in my experience, when you access your money at an ATM, although the ATM will still charge you, I get those fees refunded at the end of the quarter. So it's free for me to put my money in my bank account, and it's free for me to access my money from my bank account. However, with these cash cards and the Cash App, I would have gotten charged on both sides, once while contributing my money, and again while retrieving my money on the back side. Now, in addition to the fees, it's also important to note what happens with your money while it's being held. So the whole reason either a bank or one of these alternative banking methods wants to be able to provide you access to your money is so that they can use your money in the float when you're not using it. So they're going to loan this money out, reinvest it, do something with that money, because that's their business. Their business is using the money. So a traditional bank is going to give you interest on your money. It's small. It won't keep up with inflation, but you're going to get some amount of money every month in interest. Additionally, one of the banks where I have a checking account, in addition to the interest that I get in the bank account, I also get incentives for using their card in the form of points that can then be converted into cash or other things. And these cash cards do offer points, and they will offer discounts on things like gas or whatever retailer is providing the card. For example, these ones that are being pushed at Walmart offer a lot of incentives at Walmart, or points at Walmart. So these cash cards will provide incentives, but they're not going to, I couldn't find any that are giving you interest on the money that you hold there. Probably most importantly, and this is the one that really irks me, when we're talking about an alternative banking strategy that targets disadvantaged consumers or lower income Americans, vice traditional banking, the thing that really irks me is perpetuating cycles of poverty. These bank cards, the thing that they don't offer that traditional banks offer are advising solutions. And I'm not talking about anything that's super high end. Basic checking accounts with a lot of online banks, traditional online banks, or credit unions. Now, there's even like robo-investors or questionnaires where you can go through and input your financial data and then give you some kind of financial plan on the backside, whether it be budgeting help or basic investing help, setting up retirement accounts. But none of these cash apps do that. In fact, they do the opposite. They perpetuate cycles of poverty. Like, take a look at the Cash App website. The Cash App website looks like it's designed to be some kind of casino or something. I mean, it's sadly comical in how stereotypically designed towards low-income people this graphic layout is. It's designed to be catchy. It looks like some kind of mix between like a tattoo parlor and like a video arcade with maybe like some gambling mixed in, and then even when you scroll down and it talks about things like how you can invest in stocks, or you can invest in you can buy Bitcoin through the Cash App. It's in like a game sense. It's not in like a true investing, like preparing for your future sense. And so as these apps are targeting disadvantaged people, they're in fact accelerating cycles of poverty rather than slowing them down by steering people towards bad advice rather than good advice. On the flip side, a traditional bank is going to have, even for low balance customers, is going to have some kind of robo investing or basic financial advice available to you to be able to save and prepare for the future and invest your money wisely. And as you get into higher account balances with some minimum dollar limit, then you can get personalized advice. But just the basic mentality of these cash cards really perpetuating cycles of poverty by going to a traditional bank where they're going to give you sound financial advice that's going to better prepare you for the future. That's the one that just really irks me. So we talked a little bit about the funding fees and how a traditional bank is going to have this fee structure that's more advantageous to you as the consumer. We've talked a little bit about the interest and what happens with your money while it's in whatever holding source it is, be it a traditional bank or one of these cash cards or cash apps. And last, we talked a little bit about how traditional banks are going to have a structure in place that's going to help their customers succeed in the future. Hope you enjoyed this. I hope this was impactful, and I hope that you're able to benefit from it. If you whatever banking system you use, please let me know why you use it in the comments down below. I'd really appreciate to better inform myself about why people are choosing the banking solutions that they are. If you want more content like this, please like and subscribe to my channel. Click on the notification option. And then also, if you want to get your real estate investing game up to par, please check out my Teachable course down below, where I tell you exactly how I manage my properties remotely every day and prepare you to do the same.